And now to some good news. Remember the two young men allegedly wrongfully detained at the irregular migration center in Sarajevo, Bosnia. We're pleased to know that those men have been released and are safely back in Nigeria. Mr. Abia Alexandro and Ebo Chinedu arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, on Saturday, December 21st, aboard a Turkish Airlines flight at 2:05 a.m. and were welcomed by spokesperson to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Ferdinand Moye, on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Jeffrey Nyama, and by the NIDCOM Secretary Engineer, Dr. Sule Yakubu Bassi, on behalf of the chairman of the NIDCOM, Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erewa. And let's recap a bit how we got here. Both students of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, who traveled to the Croatian capital Zagreb, went there to participate in the International University Table Tennis Tournament in Pula. Just a day before their departure for Nigeria, while taking a walk out in Zagreb, they were arrested and deported to Bosnia and Herzegovina by the Croatian police, who claimed they were illegal immigrants despite them having arrived in Croatia with valid visas because of their inability to present supporting documents they claimed were in their hotel rooms. This all happened on November 16, 2019. The attention of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Nigeria Diaspora Commission was called to the matter. And thanks to the efforts of these two ministries, the young men were released and are now home here in Nigeria. The men narrated their ordeal made worse by the language barrier and the hostile conditions at the camp. And while everyone can heave a sigh of relief that this is over, there is a warning from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs asking Nigerians to always inform the missions accredited to their host countries of their arrival for necessary documentation and information purposes. Let's check in now on other discussions in diplomatic circles.
France's President Emmanuel Macron on Sunday paid tribute to French and U.S. soldiers killed in the Ivorian city 15 years ago. This was his third and final day of an official visit to Côte d'Ivoire. The French president laid a wreath on the Bouaké monument commemorating the fallen alongside his Ivorian counterpart Alassane Ouattara. Back in November 2004, Ivorian warplanes killed 9 French soldiers and an American relief worker in a bombing raid of the French base in Bouaké. France believed the raid was deliberate. They retaliated by destroying most of the West African country's small air force. Meanwhile, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says his country will increase military support to the internationally recognized government of Libya if necessary, and will evaluate ground, air, and marine options. This comes a month after both sides signed a military cooperation accord. Turkey backs Fayez el-Sarraj's government of national accord in Libya, which has been torn by factional conflict since 2011 and has already sent military supplies to the GNA despite a United Nations arms embargo, according to a report by the United Nations. Turkey has also said it will deploy troops to Libya if the GNA makes such a request. The GNA has been fighting months-long offensive by Khalifa Haftar's forces based in the east of the country. Haftar's forces have received support from Russia, Egypt, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates. Finally, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has criticized the International Criminal Court's plan to investigate alleged war crimes in the Palestinian territories. On Friday, the International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor says she would launch a full investigation into alleged war crimes in the Palestinian territories as soon as the court's jurisdiction had been established. This was refuted by Mr. Netanyahu, who claims the court has no jurisdiction to investigate alleged war crimes. The ICC chief prosecutor said a 2015 preliminary examination into alleged war crimes had provided enough information to meet all criteria for opening an investigation.
Coming up after the break, international affairs and legal analyst Joanna LeBlanc had a lot to say about why economic development has been difficult for Africa. Our interview with her continues with a focus on U.S.-Africa relations. Stay with us.